Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be unveiling the brand new free healing technique, which is a level 2 from the BCR TC technique, and it is referred to as the clarity technique. And so I have the presentation slides here, and I'm going to go ahead now and unveil to you this brand new technique called the clarity technique. So here we go. Like I said, this is level 2 of the BCR TC technique. So it is advised to continue working with the original BCR technique so that you may perfect your blissful inner space where you accumulate love energy. As you become accustomed to creating a powerful, blissful inner space, you'll be ready to begin the next phase of inner healing, the clarity technique. Okay, so this is very, very important that if you have already worked with the BCR technique for a while, then you're good. You understand the flow of that. You understand the flow of what you need to do, your breath work, your calmness, and your reinforcement going into your inner space, creating a beautiful inner space. So this is helping you to accumulate love energy. Okay, well, you're doing the exact same thing here through the clarity technique, but what the key ingredient here is creating a very, very powerful inner space. Okay, so this is basically just taking the BCR technique and stepping it up a level. Okay, stepping it up another notch as we look more into the clarity technique. So with the clarity technique, you will be given a template document that outlines positive keywords and example bliss spaces that can help you create the inner paradise of your dreams. Your blissful inner space is absolutely essential for the clarity technique. As soon as you bring it into your mind, you are in love with it. It is your oasis and the greatest space you will ever want to occupy in any reality. So the picture here you see is just an example of creating this beautiful inner space within your mind. You want to make it filled with love. You want to make it beautiful. You want to make it joyful. You really just want to say, oh my goodness, I am in heaven. I'm in paradise with this inner space that I have created. Your blissful inner space. In the video description of this YouTube video, you will find the Clarity Technique Outline PDF. Please download this now so you can familiarize yourself with potential ideas, utilizing a powerful keyword to summarize your inner space, as well as ideas to helping you create your blissful inner space. Okay, so just go ahead now and look at the video description below. Okay, you'll see a link there. Click on that link and you can download the PDF. Okay, that's your outline that you can work with. As you build your own inner space, the key to its success is that it needs to make you smile every time you enter. Okay, very important. Depending on the person, your inner space may look different each time you visit it, yet it will bring a smile to your face. What that means is that as you create your inner space, it is always going to be unique to you. All right? So we can all have wild imaginations of what our inner space is. Please create it genuinely, authentically to yourself. It is a prerequisite that your inner space must bring you a genuine smile every single time for the clarity technique to be effective. Okay? You're not creating the clarity technique. You're not creating your inner space by doing this. Right? You're not doing a poker face. Okay? You are smiling. Okay? You have a beautiful smile on your face. You go into your inner space. You create this beautiful paradise, this heaven within your mind. You make it vivid to yourself, okay? Vivid inner space. And it makes you smile, okay? You have to smile. Absolutely mandatory. If you don't smile, you have not created a good enough space. It needs to be just absolutely beautiful. As soon as you just feel it within yourself, it's making you smile, okay? Smiling is mandatory for this exercise. Okay, moving on. Your inner space keyword. This is another important point. Once your blissful inner space has been created and it makes you smile, the next step is to give your inner space a keyword assigned to it. This keyword can be absolutely anything at all, as long as that word holds the essence of your inner space within it. As you're in your blissful inner space and it makes you smile, create a key word that best captures the essence of this space, whether it be example, peace, love, happiness, joy, compassion, blue, purple, cosmic, etc. Again, it can be any word you wish, but it must be a key word that you feel best captures the feeling of the space. Okay, so that's extremely important, right? If you're creating your beautiful space and you decide to refer to it as crap hole, then that's not really going to be very beneficial for yourself. All right, you want to make sure that you're using a key word that best represents the essence and the energy of that space that you create. Be complimentary. Let it be your own unique word. Okay? Completely authentic to you. Now we're going to move on into the conflict issue. Okay? Now that the assignment of your blissful inner space is completed, we will move on to the next step involving a conflict issue. Right? So spend some time creating your inner space. Make sure it's making you smile, and assign a key word to it. All right? Once you have done that, we're now going into looking into the conflict issue. This conflict issue can be absolutely anything, as long as it involves you and you alone. This is not anyone else. This is not for anyone else but yourself. Okay, this is for you. This is not for your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. Okay, you can show them this video. You can show them this technique. They have to do it for themselves. Okay, so in this way, this video, this clarity technique is for you yourself. Because I get a lot of people coming up to me and say, Brad, I want to be able to help a person with the clarity technique. No. If you want to help them, you show them this video. Okay? And they do the clarity technique on their own. If you have questions, you can always come to me and ask questions. All right? You are not doing the clarity technique to resolve somebody else's ignorance. It does not work that way. You cannot step into their reality. This is for them to do. And this is for you to do. On your own, by yourself. Okay? Very, very important. Okay? Hold whatever the conflict issue is within your mind and work to bring as much of its energy into your awareness as you can. You are not attaching to it, but you are being full awareness and attention to what this conflict issue is. Okay? So we're not attaching to the conflict issue, whatever it might be, but we're just bringing full, vivid awareness of that conflict issue within our mind. You can write out this conflict issue on a piece of paper or on a digital device, but the most important factor is that your memory contains the full awareness and attention of the conflict issue. This is vital. Okay, so I could have a notepad here, and let's just say, for example, I went to work, did my 9-to-5 job today, and it was horrible. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm upset because I constantly had to tell people over and over and over again what they needed to do. I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted, I'm upset from work, okay? So I just write down all those details on a notepad, okay? And that can just be a good reminder to myself, but what's most important is in here, right? I'm going through the day and I have a very strong, vivid memory about what I went through today, how it was a very exhausting day, how I'm upset, okay? Had to constantly remind people over and over and over again what they had to do, and it was burning me the heck out. Okay, so that's good. We want to make sure that we are very vivid of that memory. We want to go into our conflict issue and try to vividly capture as much of the memory of it as we can, right? The reason why we do this is because the more intense your conflict issue is, the greater that you're going to be able to neutralize it, which we'll be getting into here in a moment. Okay, moving on. Resolving the conflict. As you have previously created your blissful inner space, you will put its effects directly to work. Okay? So get comfortable, relax, and close your eyes. Okay? Shift your focus from the vividness of the conflict issue over to your inner space. Stay with your inner space for approximately 1 minute. Okay? It doesn't have to be 1 minute exactly, but just approximately 1 minute. Chanting the key word that you have given for your space. This is to warm up your energy so that you can completely neutralize and eliminate the conflict issue. Okay? So you're shifting your focus from the conflict issue. Okay, that's no longer on your mind at the moment. You're going into your inner space. You're going into your beautiful inner space that you have created with the key word that you have assigned to it. Okay? So again, you're just warming yourself up. Give yourself about a minute just to go into your space right now that you've created. Chant either out loud or in your mind the key word that you have assigned to your space. Okay, after about a minute or so, we're now going to return your inner focus and concentration to the conflict issue. Okay, so after 1 minute approximately has passed, go back to the conflict issue in your mind. As you think about it, chant the key word of your blissful inner space either aloud or in your mind for a full minute as you bring the awareness of the conflict issue into your mind. Okay, so we just want to bring that full vividness, that full vivid memory of the conflict issue into our awareness. And as you chant the key word to the conflict issue, feel the love and bliss of your inner space being more prominent within your mind. As you do, it feels like the inner space is overlaying itself on top of the conflict issue, dissolving all meaning from it as you continue to chant the key word representing your space. Okay, so if this is the conflict issue right here, exhausted, frustrated, upset, overwork, okay, and I'm now going into my inner space, I'm overlaying that, and I'm now saying the key word. In this example, I'll just say keyword, okay? Keyword, 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 keyword. I'm saying that for a whole minute. If I need to time it with a watch or time it with my phone for a full minute, go ahead and do that, okay? Go ahead and set a 1 minute timer if you like, okay? But you're overlaying that, and you're just saying keyword, 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 keyword. You're feeling the vividness of your inner space and how it makes you smile, how it makes you feel so good. Okay, that smile is mandatory, right? And after a minute, you feel all of that powerful love energy that you have created through your inner space overlaying itself over top of that conflict issue, okay? So one example is that you may literally just see your conflict issue as an image, okay, like a still frame in your mind. And it has, HD color to it, right? And as you start doing this overlay of the blissful inner space and keyword over top of it, it's like you're feeling that conflict issue that's full in color. It's starting to turn black and white, right? It's losing its color. It's losing its meaning. It's losing its value. It's losing its worth. It's losing its definition. Hey, that's what we're doing. We're basically sucking all of the meaning and worth and definition out of the conflict issue by overlaying our blissful space and the key word associated with the blissful space and basically neutralizing it entirely. Okay, I'll be demonstrating this technique once I'm finished here with sharing the slides with you. Okay, so again, remember to smile. Okay, the inner space is overlaying on top of the conflict issue, dissolving all meaning from it as you continue to chant the key word representing your space. After a full minute has passed, involving you chanting the key word of your space towards the conflict issue within your mind, stop what you're doing and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, which is important. We need to oxygenate ourselves, okay? So once you have done the full minute, feel the conflict issue within your mind and ask yourself the following probe questions, 2 of them. Number 1, have I neutralized the conflict issue? Okay. Number 2, is it now just a thing that's happened and nothing more? Just like in one of my recent videos where I talked about there are no mistakes, there are only things happening. That's what we're creating the conflict into. There are no mistakes. It's just a happen thing, okay? It's a happen thing, right? It's just a thing that's happened and nothing more. And if your answer to both of them is yes, then congratulations. You have eliminated the conflict issue and you have obtained clarity. This is why we call it the clarity technique. Clarity is achieved when we have completely neutralized and rendered that conflict issue into just a thing that's happened and nothing more, okay? If the answer is no, simply repeat the process again for another full minute, keeping the conflict issue in your mind and chanting your key word of your blissful inner space overlaying the love of that space over the conflict issue. After a full minute is complete, return to the probe questions. Repeat this until your conflict issue is completely neutralized. Is just a thing that's happened and you have obtained clarity. Okay? So again, don't be afraid to repeat the process. If you feel, okay, well, I feel like it's neutralized maybe about half of it. Okay? Then you want to go ahead and you want to do another round. Okay? You want to do a second round, a third round, a fourth round until that conflict issue is completely neutralized. By neutralized, I mean it no longer has a grasp on you. You don't care about it, okay? Basically, you say, I've had this rough day, blah, 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 blah. After the clarity technique, I feel great. I feel good. I've completely released this. I've completely neutralized it, right? It's now just a thing that's happened. No big deal at all. I'm free of it. I can release it now. There you go. You've done it. Right? As you do this more and more, it'll become way easier, right? So you have your conflict issue here, you know what you're going to work with. Your inner space is so powerful, you instantly start smiling as soon as you think about it. You have your keyword of your inner space, and you overlay it on top of that conflict issue. And you're draining all of the meaning, all of the conflict out of it until it is completely neutral and it is just a thing that's happened, right? You're free of it. You've released it. Congratulations. Okay, if you do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, doesn't matter. Just keep doing it until it's neutralized and released. Okay, the clarity technique is an ignorance eliminator. It eliminates ignorance. It eats ignorance for breakfast. Okay, that's what it does. So this is why we're using it. This is why, again, it's the next step up from the BCR technique. So what the BCR technique is doing is it's giving you that love energy, right? You're accumulating that love energy very strongly within yourself. What we're doing with the clarity technique is we're using all of the love energy. We're using that space that has accumulated this love energy, and we're putting it to work against a conflict issue that we have. So this is why it's a level 2. Okay, moving on. So the reminders here, before I get into the demonstration. Reminders. Remember, each time you enter your blissful inner space, it has to make you smile. Please don't forget this. You may end up changing and enhancing your space the more you use it. Please do this, as the important thing is the pure love your inner space brings you. Okay? I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to smile. Okay? The reason why I'm constantly telling you this is because I have people that email me after I put a video out like this, and they said, Brad, I don't know if the clarity technique is working. I said, okay. Did you create your inner space? Yeah. Did it make you smile? Oh, no. Well, that's why it's not working. Okay? Has to make you smile. That smile is a practical gauge, right? It's a practical gauge for you to letting you know that your inner space works. Okay? The inner space that you've created is filled with love energy. Okay? It's very positive, very loving, very beautiful, very blissful. And your smile proves it. Okay? If you're like this, yeah, Brad, I created my inner space. Well, you sound very excited about it. You're not even smiling. You're giving me the poker face. You're giving me the puppy dog look. All right? Smile. Okay? You may just be the only one inside your room, and I suggest just doing it in your own private space. Don't do this around others. Go find a private space. Go into your bedroom. Go to the bathroom. Go in your backyard. Whatever. Just have your own personal space and do this. Okay? You want to keep everything about this private and secret. Secrets are power. Secrets are strength. Okay? Have your secrets. Oh, so so-and-so, how is your clarity technique doing? I'm not going to tell you. What's your inner space like? Not going to tell you. What's your keyword? Not going to tell you. Right? It's yours. This is a sacred thing. Okay? This is your own sacred technique that you are using. It's no one else's business about what your inner space is, what your keyword is. Okay, that includes me. You don't have to tell me anything about that. Okay, but as long as it's making you smile, right? You got that love energy flowing through you. Okay, and you're again neutralizing this, and you're asking yourself those 2 probing questions at the end. Okay, so make your keyword unique to your space. What you term it is very important, as that will be the catalyst in neutralizing your conflict issue. Again, give it a good keyword that best represents your space. As stated previously, your conflict issue can be on anything. It can be regarding another person or persons, but the healing is just for you and for only you. Please remember this. When you're doing the clarity technique, it is just for yourself. You are not doing the clarity technique to make your mom feel better. You are not doing the clarity technique to make your brother or sister or best friend feel better. It's not for them. Okay? If they want to do this, they come to this video and they explore it themselves. Okay? This is a self technique. Very important to remember that. All right? If you have to perform the 1-minute neutralizing of the conflict issue multiple times, continue to do so. Don't give up. Okay? Through repetition, you will accomplish neutralizing your conflict issue. Our goal is to render the conflict meaningless so that you may achieve clarity. That's why it's called the clarity technique. You achieve clarity at the very end. The clarity technique is an ignorance eliminator. It eats ignorance for breakfast, right? Use this for every conflict issue you have every single day. Even multiple times per day is recommended. The more ignorance you eliminate, you will align more to the self, and by being in alignment with the self, you will be in sovereignty and in liberation all together. Okay? So, remember that. Right? As you work with this each and every single day, you're going to go a lot closer to sovereignty, to the self, to liberation. Okay? So, like I said, don't be bashful. Continue to work with this technique. Like I said, you may just want to refresh and reestablish and amplify and enhance your inner space. If you're using it constantly again and again and again and again, okay, and you're noticing that as I go into my inner space, I'm not smiling anymore, well, then that means that your inner space needs to be revamped. Okay? You need to enhance it more. You need to dress it up more. You want to make it more potent with love energy. That can happen. You may just do this once. You do it a second time, you're not really smiling. Okay? Pay attention to the smile. Is the smile there? Yeah, I'm going into my space and I don't feel it. I don't feel the smile there. Okay. You need to revamp it. You need to amplify it. You need to enhance it. Okay? That is what has to pass. To pass the test, you got to smile. Okay? No smile equals no clarity technique. All right? It's also important that you are doing the clarity technique when you have energy in you, when you're active, when you have vitality. If you're so exhausted that you can't even keep your eyes open, don't do the clarity technique. Okay? Go take a nap or go get a good night's sleep. Okay? When you're well rested, and you have vitality energy flowing through you, you feel active, great. That is when you do the clarity technique. You have to be receptive, you have to be focused, you have to concentrate, okay? You're concentrating on creating that inner space. That beautiful inner space that does what to you? Makes you smile, okay? And your key word, very, very important. Then we overlay that, all right? So please remember that. Okay, so again, remember, we're working to completely clear away ignorance, to be in alignment with the self, sovereignty, and in liberation altogether, right? So the more ignorance that you're releasing, you're going to go to the I. You're going to go to God. You're going to go to the self, because it is through that conscious self, the mind, right? And there's that debris in between that's preventing you from knowing the I, okay? Self-realization, as I said, is all about you realizing the ignorance that you have placed upon yourself that has prevented you from knowing the I. And this is what this does. It eats ignorance for breakfast, clears it all up. The ego can now die. Now that the ego can now die, you are now completely one with I. Okay? One with the self, one with God. That's what this does. It's very, very powerful when we use it properly. Okay? The smile, right? The key word, the neutralization. Remembering that. All right? So, allow me now to go ahead and do a brief demonstration about how this will work. Everything that I share here is just the example. I'm not using any of my own inner blissful spaces or keywords. These are all just examples. Okay? So please pay that in mind. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is I'm going into my space, right? And I'm creating something beautiful. For this example, I'm seeing a beautiful, lush garden. I'm seeing a waterfall right in front of me. I feel it flowing. I'm seeing this beautiful arcing rainbow upon the sky. I'm seeing my loved ones here as their higher selves. I'm seeing my angels here upon the sky. I'm feeling these beautiful radiant sparkles of energy through the air. The air feels so pure. I'm feeling completely in bliss. And how do I know that? I'm doing this. Okay? I'm smiling. This is your gauge. Okay? I'm smiling. This is a wonderful inner space. So what should I call it? With everything I'm seeing here, I'm going to call it oasis. Okay? Just an example. Okay? Oasis for my inner space. Okay? So I spend about a minute or so just looking at my inner space, how beautiful it is, and I'm chanting either out loud or in my mind, oasis, 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 doing that for about a full minute. Okay? Now it's natural to me. I've said that for a full minute. It's ingrained into my mind right now, this beautiful space. Good. Now what do? I go and I look into my conflict issue. Just the example I said earlier about the idea of feeling exhausted, right? Exhausted, upset, frustrated, because again, I had a very difficult day at work. I was telling all these people, reminding them constantly what they had to do, and it was just draining me like crazy, okay? So that's what I'm writing as a reminder down on the notepad here. Frustrated, upset, exhausted from work, okay? But I'm also going into my mind right now, okay? And I'm having vivid memory, fully, about what my day was like today. What were the hard spots? What were the tough spots? What were the challenges that I was really going through? What really stood out, right? All of that is vivid now in my mind. So I'm focusing on that for about a minute. After I've done that, I'm going to shift gears now, okay? As I shift gears, I'm going into my inner space again, okay? I'm seeing the key word. I'm seeing oasis, oasis, oasis. So again, I'm focusing on a minute for that, okay? So again, I'm focusing on 1 minute of the conflict issue. It could be a little bit longer if you need some more time, okay? And then again, I'm taking about a full minute to look at the inner space and to look at that. The reason why is if I've been focusing on the conflict issue for a certain amount of time, I'm still in that energy. I want to get out of that energy, okay? I'm getting out of that energy and I'm going into the inner space and my keyword. And I'm spending about a minute there, okay? Because I'm warming myself up. I'm warming up the energy, okay? So I've done that. I'm looking into my inner space. It's making me smile. I'm saying oasis, oasis, oasis. A full minute has passed. Great. Now I'm ready to get started. So I see the conflict issue right here, right? It's like a little screenshot, a little thumbnail, like on a YouTube video, okay? A still frame. Now I'm overlaying my space right on top of it. And I'm saying oasis, 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 okay? A full minute has passed. As that full minute is passing, I can see a black and white effect. This is just my example. Doesn't mean that this is your guys' example, okay? It can happen in many different ways for yourself. But I'm basically seeing that colorful image of the conflict issue turning black and white, which means all the color is being sucked out of it, okay? For somebody else, maybe it's dissolving. For somebody else, maybe it's crumbling away. For somebody else, maybe it's burning up. Whatever it is, everybody's unique. Everybody's different. You do not have to see it the way that I'm seeing it, okay? This is just how I see it, okay? After a full minute, yeah, it's completely black and white. A minute now fully passes. Now I ask myself the two probing questions. Number one, did I completely neutralize the conflict issue? Yes, I did. Okay. Number two, do I now see the conflict issue as just a thing that's happened and nothing more? Yes. Good. Release. Whew. Okay. It's automatically released as soon as I say yes and yes to those two questions. I'm good. I feel right as rain. Right? I can feel that I'm feeling better. All right? So again, if I need to do it the second time, if I say no and no to those two questions, no problem. I repeat it again. I go into my inner space. Is it making me smile? If it's not making me smile, beef it up. Enhance it. Okay? So I'm making myself smile, and I'm going back into it again. I'm overlaying it again. Oasis, 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 oasis for a full minute. Okay, set a timer if you need to. Set it on your watch, set it on your phone, what have you. After a full minute, beep, 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 beep. Okay. 2 probing questions again. Have I neutralized the conflict issue? Yes. Do I now see the conflict issue as just something that has happened and nothing more? Yes. You're good. Okay? That's all you're doing. You repeat and repeat and repeat again until you have completely neutralized the issue. And that's it. That's you reaching clarity. You have achieved clarity in the clarity technique. This is the entire technique. Okay? So it's a little long, but I'd like you guys just to continue to review this video again and again and again until everything I've shared here with you has become natural. All right? If you need to drop me an email and ask me a question, right, preferably something that's not in the video, okay, please make sure you're watching this video from beginning to end, okay? And you're taking notes, and again, just try it for yourself. This is a very, very simple technique. But like I said, if you have familiarity with the BCR technique, you have no problem doing this. You'll have no problem working with this. It's going to be very, very simple, okay? So again, thank you everybody for tuning in to this clarity technique video. Please feel free to share this video if you like, and again, keep watching it so that it all becomes natural with you, and practice, practice, practice. That is what's going to make a difference. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to check out my websites, newearthteachings.com, healingcodecards.com, healingcodeshop.com. Go on to healingcodecards.com to grab your body deck and your mind deck, also available in digital versions as well. And of course, you can follow me on social media, on Facebook, on MeWe, and of course on Telegram as well. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Take care and show the way.